That'll work out great.
Oh, that's how we're going to start. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Racing Bros NASCAR podcast, episode number 15. We're talking all things Dover. We're going to be going over some rumors that we've been hearing, and we're going to preview COTA, because it's COTA week this week. As always, I'm with my co-host, Brian. Brian, how are you today?
I'm good. Looking forward to the next race.
See, this is right up your alley. COTA, lefts and rights, actually using brakes. Like this
COTA and Monaco in the same weekend.
Monaco's Monaco. Anyhow, let's get into Dover. All right, so Dover, 750 horsepower package. We had there's a lot of brake issues that was going on early.
And tires. We had big tire issues.
Yeah, Dover does eat up the tires, but I was surprised with all the brake issues early.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had, of course, Chase Elliott weekly start in the rear. So, then cheating Chevys. We'd be talking about some cheating Chevys here later, but yeah, Chase Elliott started in the rear, and then it was like stage one. Kyle Busch had a weird, engine issue.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Kyle Busch had a weird engine issue in stage one. He was saying he was blowing up and stuff. So whatever issue they had, I guess they fixed it. But he went 7 laps down.
Mm-hmm.
So he was pretty much out of it the entire day. I thought he was gonna do good, but unfortunately, early trouble. And then we had Kyle Larson win both stages. Looked like probably the dominant car here today. Truex led the first about 15 laps, and this car just fell off. Like a rock thrown off a cliff is how bad his car fucking went.
Yeah, tell me about it.
It's just not a good day. It was not usual for Truex at all. It was out in the ordinary. See, that's what we needed. That was that voodoo that we needed to gain back my position in the points. See, now we're only I think we're less than 100 behind, so we're getting there.
Yep.
But yeah, it was weird. Weird day for Truex, and then Byron took over the lead from Truex, and then Larson passed Byron, and then it was basically the Kyle Larson show. And then another strong run for stage one for Chris Buescher. It's nice to see Hendrick, or not Hendrick. It's nice to see Hendrick back, but it's nice to see Roush running up better. I think Newman's top 20 in the points, so he's looking at a play. He's looking outside, looking in for the playoffs. But Buescher's actually in the top 16. So Roush just stepping up their performance from last year because they had lots of trouble last year. Wasn't running really good. And then at the end of stage one, Chase Briscoe was trying to stay on the lead lap, and it looked like either he got loose or he blew a tire. We don't really know which one, but he just lost it looked like, trying to stay on the lead lap. Because you want to stay on the lead lap as much as you can on Dover, because it is hard to pass. Especially even with the 750 horsepower package, it is hard to pass, man. You got to really get a good run to get the momentum out. And then Josh Berry made his first Cup start. Justin Haley, who usually drives a 77 in Cup, and then Xfinity, he drives a colleague number 11. He had COVID, so he was out for this week. He gets a waiver for the playoffs for Xfinity, so he's going to be all fine for the playoffs. But they had to get a driver, so Josh Berry made his first career Cup start. Very busy weekend for Josh Berry. Ran the ARCA race, Xfinity, and Cup, so, pulling triple duty like they used to. And about 10 years ago, fucking Kyle Busch almost did it every weekend. But Kyle Larson sweeps the stages, and then Eric Almirola, tough season continues. blew a tire with about 100 to go. He's running near the top 10. Looking for like a solid day for the 10 team. Get some positive momentum going, but he blew a tire and got into the wall 3 and 4. It was a pretty hard hit. Looked like he lost his breath or something, like knocked the wind out of him because he was a little slow getting off the car. So hopefully he's all right. Should be though, but don't ever want to assume something. And then the weekly Ricky Stenhouse and not John Hunter, Anthony Alfredo wreck happened where Anthony Alfredo was just in front of him, and I guess Stenhouse got bored or like just didn't want to pass him and just wrecked him. Weekly Stenhouse fucking wreck. We should keep a counter. Weekly Stenhouse wrecks. Take a shot every time Ricky Stenhouse is somewhere near a caution or causing one.
Oh my.
We'd be
Yeah, that's an end of the year kind of game.
But it's set up for the final pit stop. So Kyle Larson came in first, and he ended up second because the 48 squad had the fastest 4-tire stop all year. Got him out front, and he never looked back. And Alex Bowman's 4th career win, 2nd win this year. Wins at Dover. HMS historic 1, 2, 3, 4. Only the 4th time in NASCAR history it's ever happened. First one since 2005 when Roush Fenway did it at Homestead. So historic day for Hendrick. Alex Bowman gets the win. Rick Hendrick was down there. So it was all a good day for the Hendrick boys and Hendrick fans.
And Hendrick was smiling ear to ear after that. I'm sure you could assume that.
Oh yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's just what you dream of, like every time it happened. But
right.
So historic day for Hendrick right there. I like how Alex Bowman won. I'm not wearing his winter shirt. I'm wearing Daytona 500 shirt, but don't got his winter shirt on. But Alex Bowman with his 4th career win.
All at different style tracks too.
Yep.
Different mile tracks.
All unique tracks. So
yeah.
Well, we know Richmond and Dover are not going to be on the schedule next year because every time he's won a race, it's got taken off the schedule.
Oh boy.
But yeah, nice day for Alex Bowman. He is our 2nd multi-winner this year. So him and Truex are the only ones with multi-wins. Everyone else has 1. So that puts him 2nd in the playoff standings.
Even with Denny's 600,000 points this year.
Yeah. Hey, he doesn't got that win though. So
yeah, that's the thing that matters right now.
So I want to talk a little bit about Hendrick. So looking at Hendricks this year, like, what is their weakness? I mean, you got Chase Elliott, who just won the championship.
Mm-hmm.
You got Kyle Larson, who is battling for wins every week.
Yeah.
You got William Byron, who's getting top 10s fucking every day of his life. And then you got Bowman. The 48's been checkers or wreckers really this year. A lot of bad luck for the 48 squad, but when they've been on, they've capitalized. You've seen Richmond, and then you've seen Dover. They got the best pit crew probably in NASCAR right now. That 48 squad's just hitting it on all cylinders. And when something doesn't happen to that 48 car, watch out for them, They already got 2 wins early in the season, so I'd watch out for them towards playoff time, maybe, if they can get more consistent and, like, better luck. 48.
There's only one more thing that needs to happen. That the 9 car needs to win a race this year.
Could happen this week.
It could. Road courses, man. Road course.
Yeah, there's Chase Elliott's been the weak link, the championship car, and he's not even had that bad of a year. I mean, he's 7th.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But it's just he'll get a win. There's like 5 million road courses left, and we still got Phoenix.
He might not even need a road course. He might just need a short track again.
Right. And Martinsville, like, he'll win. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, no worries there, but historic day for Hendrick. 1, 2, 3, 4. That doesn't happen every day. I mean,
We said it at the beginning. They are just the entire year so far. They've looked strong.
yep, Hendrick team is probably the one to beat.
Yeah.
Them or Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs had a weird day today. Like,
Oh yeah.
Truex and Chris Bell or Christopher. What happened to Christopher Bell? Like, I swear in stage 1 he was running like 7th, and then like stage 2 he's like 30th. I'm like, what the hell happened to him? Like, did they give
He
him?
might have had some weird tire troubles. I'm not sure.
Did they like give him like Kyle Busch's like ailing car? Did they do like a driver switch? Like, do we know? I don't know. I mean, it was just weird because I was looking. I'm like, why is the 20th like 25th now?
Yeah.
I don't know if his car was just ass or something happened. I didn't see any report of anything happening. I don't know what happened. But
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he just wasn't doing well at Dover. Maybe it's not his track.
I mean, it should have been a good track for him. He was running good stage 1,
Yeah.
and then he just freaking fell off a cliff like he was driving a go-kart. It was like
Maybe
if
just overrunning it. I don't know.
no,
It's hard to call.
I was put in the driver's seat. I forgot to tell you. That's why we.
You were put in the driver's seat.
Yeah, that's why we finished 30th.
Hey, you finished 21st. That's not bad.
Hey, man, I'm beating freaking Rick Ware, baby. Did you also see that meme where they're like Hendrick 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they're like, wait, okay, so the meme is like when your mom says you have Hendrick at home, and it's like Hendrick at home, and it was Rick Ware like 35th, 36th, 37th, 38th. That was funny. I'm like, oof.
Oh no.
Poor Rick. I mean, his IndyCar team freaking got P2, so
Yeah.
if he could bring that over to NASCAR, oh, watch out.
Mr. Romain Grosjean.
Yeah. Well, maybe he can sell his charters. Get that old 88 back on the charter system. But that's a lot of rumors for the offseason that we can talk about.
Right.
Anyways, we do
Not to keep taking pop shots at SHR, but you saw the 37th, 35th. They're still not looking that good this year.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Well,
Cole Custer was their second best finisher in 10th place, so they had 2 top 10s at least.
I was gonna say they actually had 2 top 10s, and then Almirola was running top 10ish before.
Yeah, but his whole year has just been in the wall.
He's had a lot of bad luck. I would say. Like an abnormal.
And I thought he was almost an easy favorite to make it to at least the playoffs,
Yeah, now he's still 28th in points.
Oof.
Gonna need a win. But so we have 2 questions. One regarding, I guess we were just talking about Hendrick, so we'll go with that one first. How would you rank the 4 Hendrick cars? Who is the best car in stable right now? I think we kind of said it. I would probably say the top car is probably Larson overall
I'd agree.
throughout the year. I'd say Byron's a second just because he's so deadly consistent. Bowman would have probably been second, but his whole year has been just like up, down, up, down, up, down, no luck.
Right.
Loose wheel, crash, something happens, It's not like they don't have speed at all. The 48's fast. It's just been boop, boop, boop. Like, you don't know what you're getting week to week.
Right. He had the 1 week of his steering was off. He had loose car. He had tire problems, brake problems. It's either there or it's not.
I mean, we've seen, like, super speedway crashes. Daytona, he's out lap 12. He was pole sitter. Talladega, he's running top 10, gets crashed by Denny Hamlin.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas, loose wheel. Martinsville, loose wheel, get put in the back, wreck. Bristol, his transmission dies on lap 30. It's been one of those years, just
No 4th gear. Yeah, it was crazy.
up, down, up, down. But, Richmond, they were fast, got the win. Dover was fast all day, got the win. So, they got the speed. Don't worry about the 48 car. They need some better luck, and I'm sure better luck will come to them.
Hey, I'm sure they'll do it when it counts, and that's playoffs. So
Yeah. And then, a 4th car, Chase Elliott, like, that's the 4th car.
yeah, right.
Like I
Oh,
think,
that's such a burden.
yeah, I think anyone will take the literally last year's champion as their fourth car. It's like, oh, okay, and it's not like Chase Elliott's the fourth driver at Hendrick. He's fine. He's
Right.
gonna be fine. Chase Elliott fans, he's gonna get a win. Just because he didn't get a win 12 fucking races in, calm down. He'll be fine. There's 5 other road courses left. We know how he is at the Roval. You know, we know his first win was Watkins Glen. There's still Kansas on there too. You know, he'll be fine. So don't worry about Chase.
Plus, you still have, I mean, 2 of the best cars on the grid were both HMS with the 24 and 48. So,
yeah.
I mean,
and then besides that, so I mean, we basically explained it before, like how the cars are and stuff. So this has been a question for a while especially with the implemented stages. Should races be shorter or keep the non-crown jewel races at 400 to 500 miles? So the crown jewels are basically like the Daytona 500, probably the Bristol night race now, and then Darlington, the Southern 500, and then the Coke 600. So those are like the 4 crown jewels like we have in NASCAR. Like when people say crown jewel races, those are the 4. Before Night Bristol, it used to be the Brickyard 400, but we don't do the oval, so they don't really count that as a crown jewel anymore. So I'm thinking like races like Atlanta or like Dover or Richmond or, you know, tracks like that. Would you like shorten them up, like maybe make them like 300 miles or 325, or, you know, would you do anything to those races?
that's a hard call. I don't know personally how other people would take it. I'm sure they're keeping it for money purposes because, you know, the longer the race goes, the more money you make on TV. Some tracks, I will argue, would be better at, say, 300, 325 miles. But then you also have, I mean, the crown jewels 100% should stay where they're at.
Right.
We shouldn't touch those. Yeah, I mean, I think some races being shorter, that should be shorter, would, I don't know, I think that would improve the season a little bit more.
Yeah, so I would actually shorten some of the races.
Yeah.
The races that I would keep probably would be Martinsville, Talladega. I'd probably shorten a little bit. I mean, like we all love Talladega. We love the big wrecks. We love the speed. We love the draft. You know, we love everything about it. But it gets a little ridiculous sometimes. It's like 2 laps, the car's flipping on there. I like crashes too. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not the only thing I want to see is wrecks. So right. I think we can shorten up Talladega a little bit. Be like, okay, you know, Daytona 500. I mean,
plus it's the longest track on the calendar, so
right, it's the longest oval. I think technically COTA now is the longest track.
Well, COTA's going to be like 60 laps, so we don't really have to worry that much about it.
Yeah, but yeah, I would shorten up Talladega some too. The only ones I'd keep probably Martinsville. I think maybe that's it for the 500 miles. Because, I mean, I'll keep all the crown jewels and then maybe Martinsville. I wouldn't shorten. Like Atlanta, do we need 500 miles at Atlanta? No. Do we need 400 miles at Dover? No.
Dover would be really solid at 300, maybe 325.
I'm not saying, like, we're going to, you know, the Atlanta 150. No. Like, maybe shorten it, like, about 50 miles or so. 50, 75 miles. Cut some of the laps down, you know. Get the race over so it's not a 4.5-hour race. Because, I mean, we see, you know, the attention span of people. Like, I could watch a 4-hour race. I don't really care. But most people are just kind of
with that argument about Atlanta, like if somebody was gonna say we should make it the Atlanta 150, you might as well just take the track out of the calendar. Like, there's no reason for it to be there if it's only going to be 150 laps.
Yeah, that's stupid.
That would just be boring.
Yeah, it's stupid.
So,
like, it's no reason to watch. It's a truck race.
Yeah.
I mean, truck race is a reason to watch, but it's the Cup Series. Gotta have the prestige and stuff like that. But yeah, the only one I would keep probably is Martinsville off the top of my head. There's probably another one that I would keep the same miles, but I mean, the road courses I really wouldn't touch. The road courses are fine. Well, I mean, depending on how COTA goes, we'll see how that race, how long or short it is. But
this is going to be a true test because it's going to be the laying factor as to should there be more open wheel tracks or should we just keep the strict layout of mainly ovals. So
this year's already, because for the longest time, like the entire time I've been watching NASCAR, we had 2 road courses. Mm-hmm. It was Sonoma and then Watkins Glen. Mm-hmm. And then the Roval came. I'm like, okay, we got 3. Now we're up to 7. So this is like
this is a telltale year.
This is all new to us. Like, Daytona Road Course was fine. I don't know if they should have 7. I think 7 is maybe the max they should probably have, because if they want a variety of different tracks, I don't think they should have like 15 road courses and then like 10 ovals. I want maybe 7 of these, and then we'll have the Dirt Bristol, so that's unique, and then some more short tracks like the California new short track that's coming, or Nashville Fairgrounds.
Well, with some of the news that we have, I think they're preparing to get rid of maybe some of these tracks that they're not so fond of. So,
I don't even know. What? I know this is off topic, but what track would you get rid of?
Ooh.
I already know mine.
You go ahead with yours first, then.
All right. So, this used to be a pretty decent track, actually, before the big, huge repave, and we go there twice a year, and I want to slam my head every time I watch the race. Texas. Texas is terrible now. Bulldoze it, please. If you're not going to fix how it used to be, please bulldoze it, because it's terrible. Do we need Texas? No. It's a one-groove racetrack. It's not fun. It's one groove. It's stupid. There's so much dirty air. Like, it's like the worst track, I think. I would exit off the schedule. Bye, Texas. See ya. We got COTA, but
yeah,
I would take Texas off. Throw on some more short tracks, That's the one I would immediately take off.
I think my closest to being taken off, and this is just like, I don't know, this is kind of personally, because I don't, when I drove the track in iRacing, just a little side note, but I didn't really like it that much, and it's also, I don't know, I think it just doesn't fit the style of what NASCAR is going for, and that was
Martinsville.
Pocono.
I know. I will defend Pocono.
You will defend Pocono?
Okay, so Pocono is, like, on the outside maybe looks weird and it's boring, but Pocono, I would say the stages and probably the package ruined Pocono. Mm-hmm. So with the stages, that used to be a few miles race. So it used to be like this big, huge strategy, big brain race. Like, they're like, "Oh, are you saving enough?" It's unique. It's a it's a triangle. It's a tricky triangle. It's a unique track. The reason I took off Texas is because we had like 15 other tracks. Like, I'd rather race Kentucky than Texas, and that's not even on the schedule. But Pocono's now, I think, is suffered heavily from the package and then the stages, because you can't really do the few miles thing because everyone pits at the same time. They're like, "Oh, let's split the stage." Okay. Like, there was one race in, like, 2015. I think Matt Kenseth won. It was 2015 or 16. It was, like, the last 5 laps. Like, Kyle Busch was winning. He runs out of gas. Then I think Truex was winning. Then he runs out of gas. And it was, like, 15 people just coasting along the line because they were running out of gas. And then Matt Kenseth won. And so I think Ryan Newman got second or something. He was running 15th. So he's like, oh, I'm second. Okay. Like, that's what...
I mean, I get your reasoning behind it. It's just, like, I personally don't feel like it matches what they're kind of going for, in a way.
You know, everyone's...
But, no, I mean, I'm not saying that Pocono's a terrible track. I'm just...
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got their opinion. Like, I think F1 should have fenders, but, you know, they got stupid air, like, open. I'm kidding. No, I get what you're coming from. I mean, it's not the greatest, you know. I'm not pounding the table for Pocono, but I think there's a reason to have it. I think the reason
it does bring some difference.
It is unique.
It gives more strategy and
it's like another track towards the north, like northeast, where we are.
Yeah.
Because there's not, you know, a whole lot happening in the northeast. So if you take that track and you put it down south or something, you know, it takes some from the northeast and Midwest people that can see it or not. So it's also about location and stuff like that. And
bring back Mid Ohio.
Well, Xfinity's going there.
Yeah, that could be something to watch.
Hey, we're only an hour out. We could look into it.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think that'd be fine for the crown jewel and non-crown jewel races with 300 and 400. Now we got some real news and rumors to talk about. Paul Menard.
Paul Menard.
Get hard for Menard. Yeah, Paul Menard, that Menard, is going to be returning to NASCAR competition. He's going to drive the 66 for ThorSport at COTA. And then I also saw racing in Xfinity in the number 13. Boris Said is back. We're getting all the road course ringers and Paul Menard. Like, how can you not be hyped for COTA? And then, so that was just some driver news. Now we got some real news. Okay, so there's this rumor, I think Monday night it came out, that Brad Keselowski
has won this race.
Yes. That Brad Keselowski is going to go to Roush and be an owner driver for Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing. They'd rename the whole team RFK, Robert F. Kennedy. But so that was like a rumor, and then the freaking Twitter and the Reddit went wild. They're like, whoa. And then Bob Pockris just calmly tweeted, yeah, everyone I texted that's like in the industry said this is a done deal. So now it's not even a possibility. It's a done deal within a couple hours. So we got to talk about it. So we assume Brad takes the 6 from Newman.
Yeah.
So where does that bring Newman? Is Newman retired? Is he going to run a third car for this RFK? Is like Brad bringing his own funding and then they're just going to shoot over the 6 sponsors to Newman and bring back the 16? Or
we talked about this. Just you and I, we talked about this personally.
You gotta make an illusion like we don't talk at all. We only talk on the podcast. I'm just kidding.
That's not cool. No, so we talked about this personally. What I think is gonna happen, I'm gonna go off of what you said and what I said, like kind of combine it in a way. So, I do think that Newman's gearing up to retire because people have said, you know, they've seen him spending more time with his girls as of lately. So I think he's going to retire. He's going to take 1 solid year off of anything racing. And then all of a sudden he's just going to get that itch back. And he's going to come back to the sport, not as a driver, but as like a crew chief or an engineer or something.
Right.
He's just going to want to get his hands back on one of those cars. And it's more than likely going to be back with Roush, because
Hey, Penske.
why wouldn't he? Or, I mean, he could go to Penske, but
Hey, what if... Oh, a big brain.
Hendrick Motorsport.
No, big brain play right now. They move Blaney to the 2. Newman takes over at the 12 to return
Oh, boy.
for one last year for old Roger, the Dodger. I'm just kidding.
Can they get the Sony car back?
That would be a big brain. They trade. Yeah, we'll give you Brad Keselowski and 2 crew members for Ryan Newman and his 18 sponsors he brings a year that they just pull out their ass for one, and an Oscar Mayer wiener, and that's it.
Hey, you never know. It could work.
Could you? I don't even think that's possible. I should know that, but I don't. You can't do trades.
No, I'm sure you can't.
That would be insane, though.
That would be insane.
Where
It's just...
I will give you.
You see Roger Goodell come up on the NASCAR Twitter, and he's like, there has been a trade.
Freaking Rick Ware is like, I'll just give you all my charters for all the money.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just sells out immediately. But no, so this is what I think. So Keselowski, I mean, Bob Procris says it's a done deal. So I'm going off of Bob. We believe Bob. You know, Bob is basically gospel.
He is the reason that this podcast is still standing.
We should just name it Bob Procris NASCAR Podcast. If you ever
have him on for one episode, and that's it.
We don't. It have to be an off season because we don't want to affect Bob's work life.
Right.
You know, he might miss a story and then always feel hated or slighted. Towards us, he's like, God dang it, those boys. Those boys got me off my computer and I could not see the new news. Just kidding. We love Bob. But anyways, Bob said it's a done deal. So we're saying this is going to happen.
Right.
So so it matters, like, what I can't even begin. This is like an off-season Reddit fucking scenario. Like, people are like big brain and whiteboard shit. This happens in like January in Reddit. People are like, what if this happened? If you're ever in Reddit, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Brian, if you ever go on the NASCAR subreddit in the off
I've
season,
seen it.
Oh God,
I've seen it.
Oh God. What if Joey Logano got his pilot license?
It's the tinfoil hat theory. All of it.
He's gonna leave the 22 and go auto flying racing. He's gonna make his own series. Anyways, so it's gonna change. So the team name is gonna be Roush Fenway Keselowski. It's gonna be RFK Racing. So we already know that Brad's gonna have a pretty decent stock. If they're changing the name, you know, he's gonna have some, like, whose stock is he getting? Is he getting Roush's, like part of Roush's, or is he getting part of Roush and Fenway? Like, we don't know what percentage he's getting. Is he bringing funding? Like, is Discount Tire gonna follow him? Is he
I'm sure with how consistent of a driver and how good of a driver he is, he'd get some people to follow along.
Like, is he bringing some of his Penske friends over? Like, is he bringing Jeremy Bullins over? Like, who is he? Is he bringing anyone? And then, like, he runs a manufacturing company. Is that part of the deal too? Like, that, are they gonna manufacture parts or something for Roush? Like, I want to know all the details, but
I'm sure we'll know.
For him to run the 6, okay. So this sounds crazy, but it also sounded crazy when Tony Stewart did that 20 years ago. Not 20 years ago. 10 years ago. Jesus, that was such a overstatement. Like 20 years ago. It was 13 years ago when Stewart joined Haas. Haas was a backmarker. They're basically what they are in F1 now. It would be like for Stewart joining Haas, it would be probably the equivalent of like Keselowski joining Spire, is basically what it was. But this one with Roush, I mean, they're a solid mid-pack team. They're not, as bad as Haas was when Stewart joined. So Keselowski could be the boost they need. You got to assume Keselowski would run better than Newman. I mean, we love Newman here, but, I mean, it's Brad Keselowski. So you got to see if he elevates that 6 car as well. Could he be a top 10, 15 contender? Yeah. I mean, Newman's like 15th to 20th place contender, some occasional top 10s. They're very consistent. And then Keselowski, you got to think, ups it a notch. So then their performance goes up. And then you got to think about it. What if, Ford wants to put more resources into a team? Like, they're not going to put it more into Penske. Penske already got all the money. What if they give it to Roush, up Roush? Because Keselowski's a Ford driver. Might up their performance as well and make them like a Stewart Haas. But Keselowski's on his back 9 of his career. So, and then the next gen car is coming next year. So we know that's going to make costs go down. So it's going to be easier to get into the ownership and own a car in the Cup Series. And then Keselowski's a father too, to 2 little girls growing up. He doesn't want to be driving like the whole time, to be on the road and stuff. He wants to be at home. So this could be his after career too. He drives a couple more years and then retires. So I think that's what I think will happen. I think Keselowski might bring a couple Penske guys over. The 6 and 17 are going to be elevated because Roush is going to up. And then the next gen car is going to kind of level out the playing field. And then Keselowski is probably going to bring, that 6 car, higher in the playoffs than what it usually should be running. And we'll see what happens. I mean, he could always win a championship as owner driver. It builds up his legacy more. When he retires, he knows what he's going to do. He's going to be in the ownership scene. This also potentially gets Jack Roush a lighter retirement outside of Roush, so then Keselowski just take over Roush's stake. So I think there could be a lot of good to come out this deal. We're saying that it's happening because Bob Pockris tweeted that he thinks it's done deal already. So we're talking it hasn't been confirmed by Roush or anyone like that, but that's what we assume. And now some other news. So we got this about an hour or so before we started recording. North Carolina gives $30 million to go towards tracks like Rockingham Speedway, that Rockingham, North Wilkesboro Speedway, that North Wilkesboro, and Charlotte Motor Speedway towards repairs. And then they're giving an extra $15 million towards non-sport motorsport related event opportunities. So each speedway is going to get $10 million. This still got to go through their chain of command over there. I think it's got to go through their state and stuff. So it's not like they're totally in this $15 million. But North Wilkesboro and Rockingham, could we make a comeback?
Possible.
It could be back. We haven't raced Rockingham since the trucks in 2013. But before that, it was 2004 for the NASCAR Cup Series. And then Wilkesboro has been since 96. So it could be, more short tracks coming back. We don't know for sure if it's coming, but it's at least progress towards it.
I'm actually, looking back on the tweet currently, it does look like this is confirmed because North Carolina has received a $5.4 million grant, which has already been approved by lawmakers. So
Joe Biden saved Wilkesboro and Rockingham Speedway. Oh my, what? If you had that in my bingo card in 2021, hey,
You might as well give me that 5.4 billion.
yeah, just go back to a year and a half ago. Hey,
Yeah.
we're gonna have this huge pandemic where everything's gonna be shut down, and then we're gonna come back, and no one's gonna be allowed to watch in the stadiums, and then the year after that, Joe Biden is gonna give Wilkesboro and Rockingham each $10 million to repair their facilities. I would have been like, "Are you on crack?"
There's,
like,
I would have been like, "There's no way." Yeah,
that's insane. But wow, I mean, it could be. There's a lot more steps to take. It's not happening tomorrow. They're not breaking ground, digging up. There's a lot. I'm sure there's a lot more moving pieces, but it's at least a start. It's some hope towards these tracks because I didn't ever think we would get back to this point. So that was the news for the week. Some interesting news. Oh, and Roush extended Fastenal to 2024, and they announced extension with Chris Buescher. So building towards the future. Maybe they have another announcement they can announce, but we'll leave that for another time. Anyways, COTA week. So this is a big week. New racetrack. NASCAR's never been here. It's a long road course. It's a lot of turns. So I don't particularly know COTA that well. Brian does. He has watched F1 races here and stuff. So I'm gonna let him basically take it away on the preview segment because I can't preview it. I don't really know it that well. So I don't.
I mean, you can always jump in if there's anything you want to say from like your 1 day of experience from the practice, but
they turn left and right and left and right and right and left. No, I'm just I want you guys to be informed what's going to happen to COTA, so I'm going to give it to the best guy to do it. Brian, you take it away, sir. Preview COTA.
All right, I appreciate it. So there's not going to be an insane amount of overtaking, as I'm sure that most people would expect from a road course. There's a few sections like turn 2 and 3 going into that little stretch there. That's a possible overtake position. Going into 3 and 4, if you can make it around the S correctly, that's going to be a huge overtake position. It's going to be a very, very slow track, which I'm sure that they already came up about. They're like, we're going to expect this. This is how we're going to lay it out. We're not going to do too many laps. It's not going to be great. So typically in open wheel cars, your turn 1's going to be slow. So that's what it's going to be for NASCAR, but much slower. Turn 2 and 3 are going to be a high-speed corner, and then 4 is going to be a little bit off the throttle into 5, and then to 6. But NASCAR, because of the way that the car is, it's going to be a lot of brake time. There's going to be less forward momentum. It's going to be... I'm just going to say this now. If there's not 10 cars out of this race, I am going to be surprised. I know that sounds crazy, and it's just kind of like, oh, well, you expect everybody to crash. But no, this is going to be a very difficult track, especially for people who are not used to COTA. So, as you go further along, I am going to say turn 12 is going to be a very, very difficult point for most of these drivers as well.
Yeah,
because you're going from max throttle to just instant stop. So that's going to be a joy. Honestly, the rest of the track is going to be more break time. You're going to have turn 13, 14, that's pretty much a hairpin, back to 15, which is another hairpin, into a long curve back to 19. So it's going to be a little bit more on throttle time, but it's going to be a really, really slow track for NASCAR.
Yeah, there's a lot of As you see, I pulled up the layout for Circuit of the Americas. So turn 20 to turn 1, that's a long straight as well. But
Yes.
turn 1 is a steep uphill
Yes.
into an hairpin. And then through the S's, basically through turn 2 through 9, just kind of a swervy S kind of part. Not a lot of speed going through there. Then 9 and 10, kind of a slow little straightaway. Same with 10 and 11. And then 11 to 12, that's the second long. So there's going to be a lot of... Those are going to be the 2 points. Turn 20 to turn 1, and then turn 11 to turn 12 is going to be the long back straight points. You know, they're going to be really on the gas. But they're going to have to be hard on the brakes because that's a sharp hairpin, especially for these, you know, nimble bricks that we have. So it's gonna be interesting. Good job previewing it, Brian. You did an
I appreciate it.
excellent job giving a track layout. So it's definitely gonna be interesting, you know. Something.
And all of these engineers that make these tracks, especially the open road tracks, they love S's. For some reason, it's just, oh yeah, I want my car to go left, back, right immediately. So.
Right.
Let's
Yeah.
hope that there's some type of loose setup for these cars that will actually be able to let them slide a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we're gonna get the 750 horsepower package. So
That'll be very interesting to see.
So we're gonna have the big motor small blade
Yeah.
track. So we're gonna have a lot of power on those back straights. Car's gonna be flying.
And one thing I'm actually very interested to see is, so obviously we know that not every single car is like, you know, the same speed. So when you get to past turn 20 and you're going in that straight into turn 1, obviously there's no DRS like there would be an open wheel. So I want to see which cars have the best engine just for that straightaway alone. Like who gets on the throttle first? And who's confident enough to pull that car back in, you know?
I'm going to say the Hendrick Power cars are going to have a lot of power on those back straights.
That's fair.
I think.
Yeah.
So we're going to preview our picks because, I mean, could we get a better rundown, you know, by our man, our open wheel legend, Brian Velez.
Legend.
So we're going to get on our picks. You know, obviously, no one's been on this track.
Right.
Well, I mean, they did some testing, but
That was also with Next Gen, wasn't it?
yes. So
that's
I mean, they've had track time and stuff, but
yeah.
so I'm just gonna choose the obvious pick. I think Chase Elliott. I mean, road course master. I think he's gonna master it. He's gonna have, you know, practice, get used to it and stuff. He's the best on road courses right now in the Cup Series. So I'm gonna say that Chase Elliott is a top pick. I also say watch out for, of course, you know, the ringers like Cindric and then Allmendinger. I'll look for them to be also up there as well. But I'm going to go with Chase Elliott to get his first win on a new track.
It's still a hard call for me. I thought about going with Chase Elliott because, like we said earlier, with the last track or the last road course with Daytona, that's the obvious pick.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think with how this year has been going, I think I'm going to go with Kyle Larson.
Larson.
I think he's going to pull it out of his back pocket, and he's going to do something this race.
Got two Hendrick boys.
I think it's going to be a great race, though.
It's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to see how these cars react to this track. But do you have a dark horse?
I do. My dark horse is kind of who I'm hoping does better this year because last top 10, you know, last race was top 10. So I'm going with Cole. Good old Cole.
Cole Custard?
Yeah.
Oh, cold custard? Hey, you know, we never know. It's going to be definitely something to see.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, you know yourself. It's kind of hard to pick who you think is going to win here.
Yeah.
Because We don't know.
You just got to go with the obvious,
Right.
Well, for these, with the road courses and stuff. But, we can have some new names up there. Anyone could be up there.
Yep.
But I think that's all. That does it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching, as always, or watching and listening and downloading and all that crap. Thank you all for, listening to us mumble, ramble, be boomers, whatever you think we're doing. But that's been, the Dover recap and then COTA preview. So we're going to have probably a lot to talk about after COTA. New track. See how everything plays out. Go Chase Elliott. But thank you all for listening. We'll see you guys next Wednesday. And we want to thank Brian for giving us the nice preview.
No problem.
Thanks for him joining me again for another one of these.
Thanks for having me as always.
We'll see y'all next week.
Take care.